have him locked up. That very night, he got home around noon, around 6 o'clock. I had the police at the house and he had to be detained.
Tell us what your biggest strength, AKA your superpower, is.
My superpower would be relationship building. Not only relationship building, but creating hope in what may seem to be a hopeless situation for all people, not just some.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your background and about hype, which I love, helping you prepare for excellence, right? Like, we met at juvenile justice. So you've been doing this work with young people for a very long time. How'd you actually even come up with hype?
Great question.
Hype to me.
It was through the juvenile justice system. I had a young man back then. Remember, we used to commit kids for 2 years to the state. And I had a young man who I had committed for 2 years. I sent him off to a wilderness placement. And I would have to go up there quarterly and go see him. And I would go up there more than quarterly and check on him and see how he was doing. And he would be doing well. And they talked about how mannerable he is and how wonderful he is with the staff and how he is with the other young people there. And he stayed there for 2 years. But while he was there, I only had to meet with the mom. Maybe I had to just check in with the mom, maybe per policy once or twice. That young man came home when he came home that very day, I had to lock him up again.
What?
I had to have him locked up. That very night, he got home around noon, around 6 o'clock. I had the police at the house and he had to be detained. And when that happened, that's where hype was created. Because what I found out from that situation is, it doesn't matter how much you deal with who they call the problem, which was the kid. Nobody worked with the mom or the home environment. And so if you don't deal with the home environment, that kid has only the methods he used to have to relate back to in order to survive in that environment. So you have to change the entire environment. So while he's away, we should be working more with the kid, with the parent, because the parent is as much as they don't want to believe it, a lot of times the parent is a bigger part of the problem.
I mean, well, first of all, I can admit that I am a recovering yeller.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't think any of us are as parents, as mentors, or any of that. And so I try very hard, and I don't do it very often at all. But sometimes I've caught myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm so sorry, mommy did not mean to yell. Right. Because when you do that, they don't listen. They get used to all this yelling. Right. And then I didn't yell so much. They're like, oh, you said so?
Not effective.
You said so?
I used to be very big disciplinarian. Oh, I spank, I whoop, whatever. I'm gonna get your attention. And then with him, I had to learn, when you learn better, you do better. When I was in school, I learned that, that there's other ways. And one of the things I adopted in my home environment was, the more words you use, the less explanations you have to give. And I changed the way we communicate, right? And this is what I try to explain to some parents, even though it is for a lot of parents, I ain't gonna say a lot, some parents will adopt this, but what has helped me in my home is I walk into his room, and when he was younger, I would walk into his room if I needed something for him to do. And I would say, hey man, how you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm playing my game. Okay. Hey, how much longer do you think you'll be playing? Probably, you think you'll be out in about, you'll lose half your men by 10, 15, 20 minutes? Yes, sir. Would you do me a favor? Yes, Dad. What is it? I'm about to run to the store and things. Would you wash the dishes? And that's all I need you to do. Wash the dishes. And then anything that's on the stove, just put it up in the refrigerator. I would come home. The dishes would be washed. The counters will be wiped off. Food will be put up. Floors swept. I didn't ask all that. But because of the way I did ask, he didn't mind going a step further.
No, I love that, because what we're talking about is how you're raising and mentoring your son, this young man.
It starts at home.
It starts at home. But what I think about is that these are such vital, tools and tips. And a lot of times, I mean, my kids are young, right? They go to school, and we just had like parent teacher conferences and stuff like that. And my thing is, I let people lead, and I can also be a follower. So although I'm a leader, I can also be a follower. And so I was at my daughter's school, and we were talking about her progress, and she's doing so well, but she got some areas to grow in. And they were asking me, about what I do. And I was like, well, I'm a positive psychologist, I'm an executive coach. They're like, you already know about this stuff. I said, no, 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 no. I do not teach 3, 4, and 5 and 6-year-olds. I do at home, but I rely on you. And I said, but at the end of the day, we are a team. So I do believe that we can share with each other. And so we started sharing back and forth with each other on how we do things. And that's that partnership, right? That we need in today's world to get these young leaders, because that's what they are.
Yes.
Into these corporations and into these companies, leading like you're talking about, Jasani.
Yes. I tell parents, never cry alone. It takes a village.
Yes.